Private living. Today is day 29, October 2024. It's 9 o'clock, 42 minutes in the morning, Rio de Janeiro, Garbage City. We will have on mind that I didn't sleep until this time. So we will take the reading in respect of the very relevant effort and work made by this architecture of power, considering that in general the audit is kind of number 10 and your soccer team. Organize everything, set everything, put you in front of the goal. But if you skip, you probably has a misconduct and the crowd will be mad with you with a final, for instance, in USA and someone, right? Brazil, because we are here, has some guarantees that protects individuals and foreigners. Article 5 is part of the commitment as this Republic Brazil with the international community, told by Article 4, Clause number 9. And when Brazil violates this or do a misconduct with the peers combined in Brazil to hurt national and foreign since individuals until a fiduciary as consumer, which puts all person totally disrespect or threatened, you have the right to do the reply by guarantee number 5, ensured and encouraged by guarantee 41, saying that the law, and it doesn't matter which is the law, will do the punishment against the violation of rights and essential freedoms. If an authority made this, the authorities inside the segmentation are codified to suffer the consequence by law, including the martial law. Article, the guarantee number 9 up to 13 is about the freedom in many ways of this kind of conquered right and also value God conquered since the struggles we have as mankind. Brazil perpetrated also crimes against mankind and cultural destruction by denying its own constitution. And then we will have that the guarantee 22 protect this credit because it's a property. It's sourced on my individual rights. And so all other interests and guaranteed and interests and expectations hurt by a humble list of such absurd crimes perpetrated by the authorities we can trust at the institution, we can complain with the offenders. At the institution are useless junkies, right? Has some videos exposing how they are treated by the criminal groups they belong. I had the idea as FX market with FX power plants that gone inside the closed door procedure with open door to a specific group on it. But seems that it became large and wide, then like some of you, and you violated a portfolio and a project, allowing to claim 41 trillion, 15 billions as case. We are doing the evasion of this money by the tax money immunity request, because no person can be forced to support a criminal system with the payment of tax to be used against this person or any person for violation of rights and guarantees, and encourage and make stronger the criminal groups and the institutional weakness. In other words, you take the sovereignty and legitimacy to make stronger the institutional power. And this brings the idea as how have been used procedures to feed the organized crime since you have criminals on it. But we must do things sometimes as counterintelligence. The models we had in the past was this one, right? which are kind of the density and the seats, the regression, public or corporate, global to city, city to globe. We have the human resource. The Marshall trial is required because once in a while the human resource has got in touch with the state powers. One of the ethical punishment are the garbage stars. They will be combined to fix the offices. They kind of got caught in power misuses. And this is a segmentation that allows to research the timeline, having the boxes crossed, the universal diagram on in the universal diagram with a quoting mark. Indeed, they are present in the center of interest that can be domestic or international with the quoting mark. We have the public or public system and the corporate in having Brazil, for instance, as paradigm, but based on the Brazilian peers having the center of interest. Brazilian peers, domestic center, Brazil, FIFA 14. Brazilian peers, domestic center, international center, for instance, FIFA 18. And this will give the idea, as you can observe, as our magic box. The database Sigma Criminal Association only go to institutional system if you have criminals to make the association open the doors, the windows, and many other things. As I told, they are kind of enlarged right now. Misconduct schools by act and silence. All requests kept and sustained everything we require. We are solid, we are criminals, we are for real. They work on frauds. They try the bias. We encourage and fight for the accuracy day and night, even without sleep. The risk is concurrent fragmentation from institutional power and act as institutional power. One is more at the Marshall trial. No reliability, ways of expression at the institutional system, cutting blazing act, trend analysis, the cognitive bias, the formation or creation of third ways, in other words, coalitions or alternative routes. For instance, do not use the bank to do your secure transfers and have storage in someone else, or do not have the misuse of central bank to produce illegal money, or have the illicit procedure to do the insertion of the illicit money saturated with a criminal group to be used and redistributed at the carnival, for instance. Things you had, for instance, in closed door, which opened door to a segmented group of interest that got hurt and violated. We had to work with counterintelligence. And the economic espionage is claimed 30 years for the general offenders as staffs, and the domains seems that is prison as a life, prison for a life. And the Marshall trial is an option ongoing. The exploitation of vulnerabilities and environmental claims and things like this, having these scams as tendency. It's kind of very similar to caliphates or ghettos or areas that you can't have the entry properly. Someone holds the entire thing and the others got exploited by this. We observe that you are all collinear at this moment here to project the future erasing the past, because the past has a stink on corruption. It stinks too bad that calls the criminals as a piece of shit. Indeed they are. And then you will observe that they are at the institutional system, which makes everything much more repulsive. We had the interval of our evasion of money with tax immunity that we are doing. We are kind of having 41 trillion plus 15 billions from Brazil to a reliable bank, probably on Europe, without pay a single penny as tax during the entire workflow, because you are all combined by silence as financial crimes and others, considering the power misuse. The complaint is proven notorious, and the success we like. Sometimes you have to do the motivation of others by the qualities they have, even negative qualities like the hate and the greed. And by this, I have no interest in feel hate against Brazil or United States or whatever, because indeed there are a lot of people hating them. But we work like this and working. We have the division as debit and credit, legal, not legal, legal, not legal, the institution, human resource. Now we're gonna have our issue considering the cross-cut of something like this. The first thing we're gonna have is that you do something illegal in your city. Then you decided to do something illegal in your state. Then you decided to do something illegal in your country. And then guess what? You decided to do this illegal in all countries. And then you decided to do this in all states or similar attributes as organization you have to create your criminal model in all cities. Which is the difference here? Of course, that is the size and the frequency. But the size is something sometimes complicated to get. Then I will use the idea as frequency. Why? Because the frequency is giving me something in a relation time and space, right? Right. Since I got this, I will probably observe that the repeated movement as an oscillation will probably like this at the city, like this at the state, like this at the national states. This idea gives me the perception crossing with electoral period, and the events we have as operational plan, tactical plan, strategical plan, but having the sampling and permutation inside, because in general we'll have this kind of things kind of at the same curve or frequency at the timeline. They have the concurrence as cuts, right? Right. Now we will have that the cities in general host the events that it had any kind of support of the states or similar arguments, and in general also go inside a country, right? Then you will have the distribution as one city, or the city as center of interest, the state and the country, national state. But also goes, because sometimes the national state can order to make a constraint against the star, against the sports player, and get the money as national state, the state in the middle, and finally the city, right? Here we will have the object. I will put the human resource as the star, or the sports player here, the same thing, right? In general, it is always at the city. Am I telling something absurd? You call the mayor. Then we will have another thing, the cross-cut between the illicit procedure, right, with a large number of events concurrent with, like the financial fraud in a bank, a national bank, that will, for instance, have 40 million diverted or 40 billion, and will be found in pieces of this illegal procedure to be seized after be seized and make the entry at the department, having the redistribution inside the criminal scheme linked with, right? Right. Why And how you got this? Because you suggested in the past a model like Mintz-Berg. It's the name of the model, the division of the traditional partners organization, strategical, tactical, and operational, with two staffs, right? Technical staff. You suggested the OECD and the Interpol, for instance, the driver IBM, strategical, tactical, and operational. Of course, that if you had your infiltrated agent, you got in touch with this kind of thing, you will have your sampling group here, here, and here, but sometimes they are not clowns, they are for real. And then you create the projection as this, like the hologram of a small Mintz-Berg structure to run inside the critical departments you have, doing the support and feeding the criminal activity. They got in touch with everything, having everything in a stochastic process, 2014 for instance up to 2024, to operate the FX market, right? Levels of information are not for free, but they, even with your money in the planet, you probably wouldn't gonna have access to privilege information except by the crimes you perpetrated. Required to keep the conviction, condemn all offenders, institution guilted, the guiltiness against the offenders with the capital penalty allowed, the compensation and other situations offered. We worked with counterintelligence. Have a terrific day. I'll bet that you will do, and we'll have a great week for sure with calm nights.